Great, great, great. Okay. Can I go on, sir?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and it's basically going to be one thing that is for sure. Anybody that has health has wealth. But the details of health, sometimes wealth can buy. I'll drop a few thoughts for some of us to ponder. It's amazing how consciously for the past 5 years of my life, I've been very, very healthy. I've never been admitted in the hospital. Let me just say 5 years minimum. Now, the reason is because, not just because I'm a doctor, but because, okay, continue, all right? Not just because I'm a doctor, but because I quite understand that there are different components that make up the entire human system. And those components are not just based on cell alone. They are you, the environment, what you eat, the friends you keep. So by extension, your general well-being depends solely on you. You are the center point. You are the center point. Every other thing that happens around you influences your health output, so to speak. So how do we live a healthy, balanced lifestyle? Number one, you must understand that man exists in an environment. Number two, you must understand that your human system, your body, is likened to your car that you service every month. There's a reason for servicing a car every month. Some people maybe do 2 months, 3, depending. And the reason is because there is always a tendency for wear and tear. Part of the information I'll be no, I'll break it down so that you get the basics. I'll make sure that you understand how at the end of the day, you go home with a consciousness. The hospital system in Nigeria, in Africa especially, is made for us to go to the hospital. It's never made for us to stay at home. It's very, very important that you understand that there is an aspect of medicine now. There's an area medical practice is going, which may not necessarily be, the profession of medicine, so to speak, but the profession of what you know about health and lifestyle. Now, for the purpose of this program today, we're going to be having a series. That's the benefit we're going to have as a member of our company. And I believe that I may not be able to give all the facts and information today. So on another time, we'll talk about another symposium. As you can see, it's not just about rising height and the products, but is living a healthy, balanced lifestyle. So in that vein, we're going to be talking about lifestyle medicine. Lifestyle medicine. So what is lifestyle medicine? It's actually a branch of medicine that is dealing with research, prevention, treatment, and reversal of diseases caused by lifestyle factors. Now, let me pause there for a while. Again, I said, you must understand that you are the center point, the determinant of the health output. And what is health? Health is defined as the general well-being, the state of well-being of an individual, and that state has to incorporate physical states, mental states, social states, psychological states, and of course, in this our settings too, financial states, because you have to also be financially stable, to have a positive, outcome of life, without merely the absence of disease and infirmity. So that means that if an aspect of social health is missing, the person may be ill. And of course, social and economic go hand in hand. So socioeconomic,
or something like that.
That's on one side. The other angle is the issue of course, physical well-being, general outlook, then psychological. When you break down and then something happened one day, a patient came to me. No, not necessarily a patient. The lady just came to me. I was describing a few things, and I recommended that she visit a psychiatrist. She got embarrassed. So like, am I mad? I said, no. When we prescribe psychiatric evaluation or counseling, that doesn't mean that you have gone insane, but such counseling can bring you back because it's a component of health. So health alone does not just mean you waking, sleeping and waking and feeling well. There's what we call apparently healthy. Somebody may be apparently healthy, but is very sick. That's the truth. So for the sake of our program today, what are those lifestyle details? What are those lifestyle issues that have to come to play for us to have that balance in health? Number one, what you eat, nutrition. You are a function of what you eat. Is a garbage in, garbage out. Number two, like I said, physical. Physical in what aspect? Your activity on daily basis. How much are you pushing this body? Because as you grow older, there is a chances that some cells become, dormant and weak. But if you engage in some physical activities, you can give strength and life to such cells, to function. We also look at chronic stress as a component of lifestyle. Chronic stress, it's no longer news that in our country, Nigeria especially, because of how bad the economy is, you're stressed almost on a daily basis to meet up the growing demands of standard of living. Okay, let me give an example. Somebody is working a salary job, and at the end of the month, you're expecting your salary, maybe 100,000, 150,000 to speak. But you know that in 30 days, that is not enough for you. So there is a need to increase, especially if you really want to meet up the rising cost of things in the market today. So there's a need for you to work extra. Sometimes even on our roads, so much of, hold-ups and all that. Financial issues bring up mental stress. Stress can be looked at in different areas, in different formats. It can be family stress. It can be stress because of the fact that you can't meet up your daily activities and all that. It can even be stress from your job. Some people, they give them targets. You must meet a particular target. So such jobs have, that mental challenge with people that they can't meet up their targets on daily basis. And at the end of the day, that is also a factor. Now, there's also another factor, lifestyle, that we call basically modifiable and non-modifiable. Now, the Non-modifiable ones are you as a person being born into a particular family. So your genetic makeup, your familiar tendency, for the fact that you're born into a particular family, have already predisposed you to a particular health condition until proven otherwise. How do I mean? Someone's parents, maybe a father or mother or both, are diabetic or hypertensive or have some genetic, challenge that could predispose to cancer. Those things have DNA codings and genetic predisposition that can tilt the offspring, that's the child or the person in particular, to having that kind of disease. So by the function of where you live also is a function of the kind of disease that you come down with. For instance, cervical cancer is more predominant in the north than breast cancer that is predominant in the south. So again, geographical location comes into play. Again, I said it, you and the environment, very important. Let's go to aging. These are non-modifiable risk factors that will affect your lifestyle and invariably your health. Age. For age, of course, when a child is born, it's like a brand new car you bought. Tear rubber, like they say it. And at the end of the day, like someone said, immediately a car is, maybe you order a car from outside the country, the Western world and all that. Immediately you drive that car for 2 days or 3, it's already losing the value. You bought the car. Let's say you bought a car, 10 million naira, and you put it to Nigerian, use for just a month. On selling that car, you may not be able to sell that car 10 million naira. That's the same thing with health, with aging. A child is born 100% intact. All the stem cells are 100% active. In fact, immediately a child is born, there are basically 2 groups of cells that are active at the time and replicating on almost every second. Those are the specialized cells and the unspecialized cells. The specialized cells already are cells that have formed in utero while the child, is right in the womb of the mother. So the cells aggregate. Oh, I could just imagine it. And the cells of the eyes are forming. And there are cells of the eyes, the cells of the nose, that of the mouth, the cells of the organs, internal organs, the skeletal makeup, and everything. They are formed, and all of them aggregate to all those areas. And by the time that happens, completely a human being is formed. But then they are not specialized for those areas. You can no longer, maybe by the time a child is born, you can no longer extract the bone cells to now use to fix the eyes. No, not possible, because they're already specialized for the skeletal system. You can no longer, get the digestive tract to now do the function of the brain. It's not possible. That's already been specialized. And then finally, there is this very important, but over here in our country, we have not really deciphered that the reason why the Caucasians, like we call them, the whites, live longer is because they understood the principle of those group of cells that are very unique, and they are called the unspecialized cells. They are unspecialized because when God was creating man, God knew that there will be a wear and tear. So they help to replace, replenish, rejuvenate, repair those cells when they get damaged. When cells get weaker, they help to, ginger those cells up. They are like the emergency cells of the entire system. So it is very, very important that you understand that as a human, you have the emergency component of your own cell system. Of course, God understood that very well. If not, it's just as good as a child is born, the next minute is death. But because of that reserve, there's always a reserve. You know, most times I love the fact that humans are being equated like my car. I will put a petrol, maybe if I put petrol to the highest point, the tank is full, and I'm driving. Maybe I have a long journey I'm doing. At a point, there'll be a red sign showing me that your fuel now is in reserve. That means I have to do what? Put something back. So God also gave us reserve, so that those reserves are used to substitute and replace when these other cells die off. So in that same vein, humans have that that reserve system as well. So like as I was saying, by the time one is born and you're aging, a lot of cells start replicating. And then one thing that is very, very important also that you should note tonight is that most cells, by the time they are formed, they have a particular time they die, and they die off. So those cells are being replaced by those emergency cells. Take, for instance, we have the red blood cells that live up to 120 days. And that is actually the cascade of what predisposes someone to having things like cancer, especially. So the body system is so organized that on a particular day, on that 120th day, the body gives an information, a signal that this cell have outlived its function. So the next thing is the process of what we call apoptosis, cell death starts. So that process comes and then engulfs the cell and pushes it off, and is quietly buried. That means that word in the system. So invariably, a new cell is supposed to be formed. So those new cells that are formed they are formed to replace those ones that are dying. But there comes a time when the amount of cells that are dying are more than the amount of cells that are being replaced. So that means the level of stem cell reserve in the body will diminish with increasing aging, with increasing age. So the amount of the reserved cells, the unspecialized cells, what we call the stem cells, their value now start getting weaker. And they also lose not just their function, but they also lose their numbers. And then you start seeing evidence of aging in a man. All of a sudden you see a man start having white beards, and then to some people they age faster. You see their beards fast white than their contemporaries. And immediately you start seeing white beards in a man, of course the man will know that the next minute is death. You're going towards, you're really advancing. And all that comes because the reserve to replace are no longer there. And that is the reason why the whites have understood that there's something you need to do to increase this reserve. There's something you need to do to increase the reserve. Because imagine if you have more of the reserve, that means certainly you're going to have enough of those, your cells have longer lifespan, and that will also bring about longevity of your life. How be it that our forefathers lived a bit longer than us? Why? Because they weren't exposed to certain things. I'm coming to that. And that is the environmental exposure we're talking about. Now, your environment, like I said, is also a function of your health. Let me give an example. In our time, unlike our forefathers, there are a lot of electromagnetic radiations around you. In fact, unfortunately, in our country, we don't really follow certain guidelines and principles that are supposed to be followed. That is why you see a lot of activities like exposure to radiation. Even am I on? Fortunately, am I still on?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. Because I thought I had a little bit of an interruption here. All right. So now I've talked about family tendencies. I've talked about aging. I've talked about geographical location. These are non-modifiable risk factors. And now I'm going to talk about the environment, man and the environment, and invariably the health. There's so much to talk about here, but I'm going to pick a few vital points that will be very helpful to us. Let's start with one of the components of the environment is radiation. Now, it's unfortunate that even MTN masks have regulations of sighting, especially, but you see those masks being sighted right over our roofs. Now, let me also say this, that the body system is a bit of an ionizing system. So it can attract electromagnetic radiations and then cause a kind of a chemical reaction or change in even DNA structure at that level, and may cause barrage or cascade of health challenges. I believe that this is an enlightening program, and it's important that you take certain rules and regulations. Let me not go to the mask area first. Let me start with what you have right now. Some of us are using our phones to listen to this program. Some of us are using our laptops. Those gadgets emit radiations. And this radiation, depending on how frequent you get exposed to it, may cause some chemical and fundamental changes in your health system, and invariably cause damage, to your health. So let's start with the phone, for instance. We have found out that, in fact, WHO had a study where we found out that the phone, the mobile phone you have, to over 50% of men have caused them impotence, erectile dysfunction, and even sperm DNA damages. Why? Because of the effect of the phone directly, because men, unlike women, carry their phones in their pockets predominantly because we don't carry bags, so to speak. And somehow, if you use a Samsung phone that is really unique, you find certain, let me put it, encoded precautions that are very, very dreadful. In other words, you're not supposed to have your phones very close to your body for whatever reason. You're not supposed to have your phones, too long in your ear or your head region when you're making a call. Instead, it's important to use a headset or use a speaker mode when you don't have any private information. All that is geared towards whatever you do to reduce your exposure to those radiations are going to help your cell system as well, because part of what we're going to be discussing will be centered around what the cell system will benefit from the activities we do every day. How much life do you want to have on the long run? So lifestyle medicine also takes into consideration radiation effects of the environment. Next one we're going to talk about in the environment is, of course, the kind of water, the kind of air you're taking in, water pollution, air pollution, sewage system disposal, and a lot of all that. A healthy environment, a clean environment is the best place for health. Because sometimes we look at health as though it's just you sleep and wake up, and you don't think around, don't think of what is happening around you. For me, it will be very nauseating that I see somewhere that is dirty. Definitely, I would react, because I know that if I stay there for too long, I may even contact airborne disease or thereabout, which may not be very useful, to me. So, as simple and as it is, personal hygiene, very, very important. Very, very important, both domestically, in your office, everywhere you find yourself. That's why sometimes when on the streets of Port Harcourt, sometimes we don't carry out sanitation activities. You see people throw dirt on the road, and a car will come and splash it, release it into the air. People would inhale all manner of things and all that. Yes, we are talking about the environment. There are also pollution effects in our environment. Hydrocarbons from soot from burning of fossil fuels, from coal fire activities, we release hydrocarbons into the air, and we breathe in this. It has been a big, big challenge. Guess what? Most of us that live within the Niger Delta region, Port Harcourt especially, are already exposed to things that may, on the long run, we may not notice it now, because one thing about our body system is that the way God has made it is such that the body organs may be damaged even 2/3 of it, and you may not feel anything until it gets terminal. So I get so worried because what may happen to us in the next 5 years, so to speak, may be a bit devastating, because for how long we have been inhaling very bad carbon into our system. And that is why we recommend that you clean, you detox. And that's where some of our products comes in. That's where the product will come in, because you need to detox your system from some of these hydrocarbons and all that. Now, let's look at enough of the environment. Let's also look at what are the modifiable factors. For the non-modifiable, I've talked about the race, talked about the age. Just for recap, I've talked about your familial tendency, genetic makeup, and the environment. These are things you cannot modify. They are there. They are not modifiable. Now look at the modifiable things now. Number one, of course, smoking, top on the list. A lot of people smoke. You inhale nicotine, it has a chemical reaction. It releases oxidative reaction. It's an oxidant, and it goes there to kill, weaken, or destroy your cell system. Smoking, number one. Number two, nowadays alcohol is no longer sacred. Should I say how we saw it when we were growing up? You can't even think about taking alcohol. But today, especially occasionally, you see people taking up to 40% whiskey and all that. Like what? Like I see they're drinking bottled water. It has a deleterious effect on the cells. A lot of people have died of alcoholic liver disease today. That's the cause of death. So now, one thing about the modifiable factors are that they are largely preventable. And that is a branch, of lifestyle medicine, preventive medicine. So intake of alcohol. Someone was telling me today, oh, doc, should I take alcohol? I said, well, I wouldn't say capital no, but if you know what is moderation of it, fine. Recommended, most times would recommend the red wines that a bit cardio protective. But of course, such things in excess definitely are already bad. So get me very clear. Those that take alcohol, please, as much as possible, reduce. But if you can't, whatever the outcome, you will bear the brunt, because these are modifiable things. Yes, we look at nutrition. Nutrition is part of modifiable. Unfortunately, in some families, they depend largely on outside food, because maybe the mom, the dad, very busy. They don't have time to cook natural food and eat. So do more of the junks outside. And those junks deposit fats on our cholesterol, bad one, on our vessels. And that can be very, very, deleterious. We talked about, we also talk about, like I said, in the nutrition, we look at the type of food, that is good for you and all that. Refined sugars, no way. But of course, sometimes we can't, take mineral almost every day. Some people are addicted to Coke. I'm one of them. But most times I get conscious about it and, wave it off. Sometimes, yes, you just do these things. And sometimes you now get back to your sense and say, oh, no. Sometimes I say, for the whole of this week, I'm not going to take any, mineral drink. and I try to, consciously take water. Water is the best drink generally, because these other ones contain preservatives that are not. In fact, in our slide, you see the preservative are part of the toxins, the challenges we have in our system. Now, that being said, let's look at, so we're talking about lifestyle medicine. It focuses on educating and motivating our patients to change personal habits and behaviors around the use of whole food, like I've already talked. I've given a background of the lecture for today. And like I said earlier on, something that is very important is plant predominant diets. Plant predominant diets. You go to a doctor and the doctor will say, oh, try and be on veggies, fruits and vegetables. But the challenge we have here is that it's not a lifestyle. We're not good with it. You go to India, you go to China, it's like that's their staple food. But over here in our country, if you haven't eaten a by a day, wow, it's a big problem. And those are loads of, diet that the body sometimes may not be able to digest completely. But fruits and veggies are highly fiber diets that the body needs to invigorate, extract minerals and vitamins that will need for the activity of your cell. Because everything we're talking about now is how much you can keep your cells, active and going. So it's very, very important. That is why our company have taken a list of plant extracts and put them in right proportion. I used to tell people that one of the challenges we have over here in Africa generally, not just in Nigeria, is the fact that yes, we have all these herbs, we have all these plant products, but we can't quantify them in a usable manner. In short, you go to a herbalist, for instance, a traditional medicine dealer, and he's giving a lot of roots. And such roots may contain things like potassium, sodium in excess, that your kidney will just shut down completely. So we don't know the right dosaging. If we can actually get the right dosage, the plant products are already here. Well, thanks to our company for putting all those recommendations and quantifications in those products. And that is why, now, one more thing again, I tell you, take fruit and vegetables. How much of it do you take? Maybe probably as you leave the hospital, you just take maybe one apple. The next day, do take apple, I doubt. And even the quantity you took, is it enough? Because at that point, it has to be metabolized to its end product. At that point, is it enough to stimulate any reaction, so to speak? So these are the things that we should understand. Now, it's also important that the modifiable factors are largely behavioral. So a change in behavior around the list I've already given is already a change, or it will take you further towards a healthier life. Okay, now we'll talk about regular physical activities, because it's one of the challenge some people are having today. Oh, you're the CEO of a business, you hardly have time to even do a brisk walk. Let me even make it as minimal as it is. You always AC car, from AC car to AC office, then you're back to your house, AC house. Sometimes I leave my car and I take a stroll. I walk some distance to get things. Somebody saw me sometime walking on the street. I was like, what happened to your car? I just smiled. I was like, my car is at home parked. Say, really? Say, yes. So once in a while, leave your car, take a walk down the street to get that thing you want to buy. Not every time you're in the car driving down and all that back and forth. So that's the first reaction. People, just see on the road walking like, where is your car? As though your car has been stolen, or maybe your car is faulty or something. No. So sometimes it's good you take a walk and burn some sweat. You know, try to open your vessels so that some of the things you've eaten too can get out of that by physically exercising and pushing your body, you know. Of course, there's what we call restorative sleep. Some of us, we work 24/7, so to speak. You barely have time to rest the brain cells, you know. So once in a while, shut down, put your phone off as much as possible. Take 4 hours, 8 hours sleep. Maybe in between your work schedule, have a time, 1 hour, you sleep, and you wake up, you get refreshed, you move again. The cells are happy. They are now, you know, just imagine the day you got so much of stress accumulated and you had one long sleep. You woke up refreshed and you're like, wow, as refreshed as you are, the entire cell system is refreshed. So again, you need to get that, you know, very important. Also, by so doing, stress management is key. Number one thing about stress management is you must have a to-do list for the day for yourself. If not, you jumble a lot of things together. So you must know how to manage your stress, you know your limits. Some things have to wait for the next day. You don't need to do everything that same day. My own itinerary is I wake up in the morning, what am I doing for today? Okay, I'm going to social place, I'm going to social place, I'm going to meet up this person, I'm going to call Fortune, oh, I'm going to discuss business with one prospect. And sometimes I allocate time to it. I start the day with that consciousness. In fact, most time by the end of the day, I look at it and reappraise. How much have I done? It gives you your own personal, it gives you satisfaction. You know, you have that good time for yourself. You sit down, you know, under a good music, you take a drink, then you quietly sleep off for the day. So also avoid taking risky substances. Risky substances. Some persons, you know, want to indulge into taking some extra, you know, it's also ridiculous that what people take in the name of health. You're walking on the road, you're seeing people doing jingle of one particular, you know, concussion, mixed up stuff somewhere. And they tell you, oh, it's going to help you to do this. You go and shut your kidney down. You just saw concussion, you start drinking. Oh, I saw it on the road, they were saying it will make me like this, that. No. Whatever you need to take in the name of substance, get a recommendation from a doctor. Very, very important. Some persons are already good with self-medication. Oh, it happened to me the other time now. Now this drug will take. You go and take. Who knows? Maybe you have some hypersensitivity or thereabout on such drugs. Go to meet the doctor and then get that recommendation before you take any risky substance. And then, of course, finally, I talked about social interaction. Always look at having a positive social connection. These are what makes up, you know, a good lifestyle. So health wellness depends solely on you. I believe we'll have some questions and then maybe I would also now throw in more light into this subject matter. And like I said, I would want you to have us to run it as a series so that we don't just discuss everything, you know, in one piece and then we may not necessarily get so much meat from the matter. So for the essence of this call tonight, in order not to, you know, make it too long, I would be stopping here with social connections and interaction. Get the right people around you. You may need just that person that will tickle your fancy in order to give you that positive outlook. Make a call, talk to a friend, you know, encourage someone. Also, by social connection, look out for a need. Probably give if you have. These are things that you need for a balanced, you know, health and lifestyle. So I'll thank once again Mr. Fortune and of course our Managing Director for giving me this opportunity to talk to us about our health. And I'll take questions from now if we have any, so that I believe we can also go into one or two other contemporary issues. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Fortune.
Wow, guys, come on, let's appreciate Dr. Ohaka Justice for this great information. Well, I kind of like the last part. We talked about social health. It's very important that you keep positive vibes around you. It's very important. Positive energy. Energy level is very contagious. So, guys, if you really got value from the information, just type value. Like he said, we're going to run it as a series, okay? It's going to be serious. Health and wellness with Dr. Ohaka Justice is going to be a series because we're here to show people how they can live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. All right, show appreciation, type value if you really got value. And we're going to take questions at this point. So just before the question, I'm going to invite our Managing Director, the person of Masamilia. She's just going to throw a few lights. Then, of course, we're going to come back into our products. Okay, I don't know if she's on the call. Okay, thank you. Coming from Bridget Abbas, value from Michelle, value from Dayo. Wow, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. All right, while we wait for, okay, I think we don't have from Mr. on the call. So quickly we'll go into the products because there's a way we can really achieve a healthy, balanced lifestyle. We have, of course, a vehicle, which is Rising Heights International, a system that is set out there to help people live their healthy best life, and also a system. Now, Dr. J talked about wealth. It's very important. It's part of health. So it's very important that we know how we can synchronize this thing. I tell people every day, you can do both. You can live your healthy best life, and of course, you can build generational wealth in the process. And we have a vehicle, which is Rising Heights International, where health meets wealth. Guys, what a great time for us to be alive. So quickly, we're just going to run the products for today. And of course, we still have Dr. Justice Ohaka with us, and he's going to throw more lights on our products.
Okay, I'm trying to log into another system because my this other one is a bit down. So just give me a couple of minutes. Let me log into this other one.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you. Please go ahead.
Oh.
Okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. I had to log out of the other system to connect with this one because I was having a little bit of technical issues there. Thank you very much again for having me here. Do we have any questions so far in the previous series? Any questions so far, anybody?
Okay, I think we'll just take the question at the end of the whole section.
Okay, at the end of the presentation, that's fine. Fantastic. All right, so I'll go straight to, I've already laid the foundation for this section, and I'll just touch one or two areas and then go straight into the product. So next slide, all right? Our product, yes. Okay, that's fine, all right? Now, we have, like I said earlier on, we have a product that has most of what we are looking at now. Don't get it wrong. If you're on this call, I have the qualification to tell you that in our present contemporary world now, lifestyle medicine is going towards regenerative medicine. Now, the fun is regenerative medicine is being anchored on plant medicine. And what is plant medicine is called called pharmacognosy in medical practice. So these are different names that is bringing what we are doing here together. And if you pay close attention and do what is involved here, I can assure you and tell you that you're not making any wrong move at all. Yes, most of my colleagues do not agree with me on this, but as I speak to you currently, a lot of us are now beginning to understand that, yes, life is really, really about plants. And the you understand that, the better. Rising Height is not just offering health, or so to speak. Some of us got involved not necessarily because of how much we intend to make, but the impact and value we want to give. Just imagine someone, who is down in health, and you make this recommendation, and the person all of a sudden got back strong and healthy. Money cannot buy how much joy that person having in his or her mind to you. So we're not just talking about our product so that we'll make money. We're talking about this product to give value to human being, to humanity. Stem cell generally, as it is right now, you can find out for yourself. There are plant-based stem cells, there are animal-based stem cells. The least value you can get in terms of animal stem cell therapy is $8,000. Minimum to start, $8,000 for the therapy. Imagine how much that is. Yes, to get a shot, a course of it, I'm telling you, you have to have minimum $8,000. And what are we telling you here? Just way less than that. Just 27,500, you get a pack of stems, 2-cell plots. Take it for 1 month. You know that something has entered. You know that there's a change. If you're one that has consciousness about your health, I laugh when someone tell me, "Oh, I took 2-cell plus and nothing happened." I said, "No, you're not getting it right. Take it for a minimum of 3 months. You see that your entire cell structure will change overnight. You look ever young. You'll be so active, and it looks as though you don't have any challenges. I have taken this, so I can tell you for free, and I'm still taking the product." That's why I'm always looking very active and all that. You need to meet me, and I'll give you my level of activity. I'm always active. Not because of eating a bar. No. I take our product because I know the function I have internally. I am telling you for fact. So don't be carried away by anybody trying to deceive you. Not true. Our products are proven. 2-cell plus will regenerate your entire cell system. I don't need to say so much about it. So direction for you, just tear 1 sachet, put it under your tongue. Carefully put it under your tongue. When you've not eaten, to dissolve. The feeling alone is out of this world. You just know that you're taking something, value into your health. And it goes there to clean you, complete. Someone asked me the other day that, does 2-cell plus cure infection? I said, see, infection has their pathway. But if your entire immune structure is strong enough, infection is learning to clear it. So it is an indirect way of treating infection by boosting your immune cell structure. Your CD4 and CD8 cells, by the time they get so strong, even someone who has an immunodeficiency with HIV or thereabout may withstand the person. Some of these things are still evolving. Very soon, the next 5 years, stem cell therapy will be like a household name. So you're lucky to be here to hear some of these things. So don't get it wrong. general cell renewal, use our 2 Cell Plus. You get value for it. Please, next slide. All right. So 2 Cell Plus, no, keep that slide. Let me talk about it, just to summarize. So 2 Cell Plus have varieties, a lot of benefits to repair your damaged cells. I talked about it. A lot of things will damage your cell without you knowing. The environment you're living right now, around, they're releasing toxins. You don't know how much of bad things you've inhaled that are causing some reactions. So you must counter it by taking something external extra to your body. Some persons can't drive at night because their retinal cells, their eyesight are not in good form. They're not in good shape. Some persons, we've spent a lot of money in organic creams. In fact, a friend of mine burnt her skin because of organic cream. You don't need it. It's external. What you need to do is to affect your cells internally. Take 2 Cell Plus for 3 months. If your skin is the same, come and collect your money back from me. I can challenge you now. So if you want your skin to look like my own, take 2 Cell Plus. My skin is getting younger every day. I don't know why, but I know why. 2 Cell Plus. You want to manage your stress, the amount of oxidations in your brain. Take 2 Cell Plus. It will reduce that pressure. We're not even talking about managing stroke, managing cancer, managing hepatitis, hypertension, diabetes, all of that. 2 Cell Plus is the answer. The problem we have in Nigeria is that sometimes we are we doubt. Try it. Just give yourself 2-3 months. Use this product every day. If you don't see any change, come and take the money back from me. Is that serious? Next one, next slide. Being Pure. Being Pure is a miracle product. Why did I say that? A lot of men like coffee, so women do as well. And you're taking something of health. In fact, because of our company, I just love taking coffee. I don't buy beverage even. I have Being Pure. I take a sachet. Sometimes I don't pour the entire content. I pour half. Preserve the other one for maybe the next time, the next day. And it's so, rich in your mind. So rich. You're taking something, you know that this thing is value you're taking into your system. You want to lose some weight, shed some weight, take Being Pure. It has a slimming effect generally. And of course, by so doing, it controls your satiety level. You have that, feeling of fullness at almost every time. And that helps you to conserve what you eat in bulk. Because one of the things I found out is that we have this craving for sugar, for eating every now and then. So such cravings are lost when you're taking things like Being Pure, because they give you that fullness and all that. So you want to sleep well, take Being Pure. You want your skin to be polished, take Being Pure. Don't forget, these products have ingredient lists. You can even on your own Google them, Google the ingredients and see the function of those things that are now put together in the right proportion for your effective health output. So this one, just put it in a warm water and drink after use and all that. All right, next slide. So what a healthy coffee we have with Being Pure is a slimming coffee, weight loss management, diabetic control, high blood pressure management, cholesterol reduction. And if you don't sleep well, this is your recommendation. Next slide. All right, we have other very cool products that are coming. I believe by the time these products are launched officially from the company and we start using them, we'll have a barrage of these other I can't wait to have, Tox Pure, Complete Detox, Nutri Pure, an immune booster, anti-inflammatory, Dem Pure. The Slim Pure is known as a meal replacement shake. I love that name, Slim Pure. Then we'll have the Fem Pure and the Spark Pure. So these are products that will be coming in no distant time. And then we can combine this with 2Cell Plus. Wow, we are going to just, go back in time as though you're young, when you were much, younger. All right, thank you for having me here. We have testimonies that follows, we have a lot of testimonies. Next slide. These are testimonies from Beam Pure intake. There are so much. I got Beam Pure for my husband, started taking it, and on his 4th day, noticed reduction on his waistline. That's what I'm talking about. Next slide. Yeah, this is someone who just took it for a few days and noticed that they lost hair, probably due to chemotherapy or other conditions, already regenerating back. So this is part of the regenerative property or function of our product. Next slide. All right. This also talked about, someone with a kidney issues could now make urine, in full. Next slide. So that we'll finish this slide. Okay, fine. I think I'll be handing over to, Mr. Fortune to kick off or continue the other side of it.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Justice. And just to play a few video testimonies of those that really got value, got results, great result from using it. They couldn't hold back, but share a video testimony of the product. So we're just going to play a few for the sake of time.
All right. Hello, good morning. Oh, this is a wonderful testimony this morning. I'm here with somebody that actually gave Friday Night to Sell Plus sachet, 5 sachets just to try you, and the testimony is awesome.
My name is Felix Ebokare.
Okay, sir.
So I met her as I was coming and she saw me rubbing my leg. She was asking me, what is it? Then I now told her that I'm having a arthritis, which is affecting my leg. So that very day, it's okay. She gave me 5 sachets. Say, go and try it. Then I'll come back and give me the result. When I tried the 5 sachets, the first day I took one of it. Started from my head down to my knee. The pain that I was having, that very day, I saw the way it walked. All the pain that was very stiff. So the whole thing starts going down.
Oh, this is nice. This is a very wonderful news.
I weave it throughout the day, drinking water, then the whole thing starts flowing. So after I use the 5 sachets, I now see the work. Then I now come for it. Yeah, the one that I
want. Thank you very much. I told you that this
we are rising. We rise by lifting others.
Hi, Dr. Bishop, with the first testifier today. Initially, a lot of us were like doubting. When this product came out, my mother was telling us about it, and she felt that let me say, in me, I was excited, but since it's a product we've not used before, okay, I was having this tradition within me. So I felt like she felt what we were feeling. So she just said, okay, take 1 sachet, go and try. She gave me my start. Just take 1 sachet, go and try. Okay, which I did reluctantly anyway. And from my experience, I often use my phone at night. And I don't have it. And when you're using your phone without light, you have this massive ray of light going into your eyes. So my encounter is that I often have this poor vision and tears whenever I'm using my phone at night. And based on that, I have to like always reduce the brightness of my phone whenever I'm using it. Even at that, I see how. So the day she gave me this product to use, I noticed something. I used the product in the morning, like she said, and after that, I was already done using my phone that night before I realized that I didn't reduce the brightness. I don't know if you get me. I was already done using my phone that night. I was about to sleep. That was then it dawned on me that I didn't reduce the brightness. I didn't just no pain or whatever. So I was like, you didn't reduce it, okay, let it just go by. So the following day, it repeated itself. On the third day, I started verify. So my phone was on. I used it from about 8 o'clock to about 11 p.m. that night, and I didn't feel any kind of itching. Something must have happened. What is it? And I recall 3 days earlier, Madam gave me this thing that I used, and obviously something must have happened. The eye, it's a miracle. It is a miracle. Rising heights.
Wow, that's just one of the few testimonies we have, or the testimonies we have. Because of time, we cannot play all. So at this point, we want to take questions from health and wealth in general. We still have Dr. Haka Justice here with us. And also your questions can also come from the products. And while you're waiting for questions, I'm going to mute the mic for our managing director, the person of Ms. Emilia. Of course, share very few nuggets with us this night. So if you have questions, you can raise your hand and I'm going to mute the mic for you, or you can type your question on the chat. Okay.
Wow, good evening, everybody. Yeah. And I think that was a very, very good one, Dr. Justice. I think we are so excited to have you on today's call. I mean, everything like this is like a whole training, like a whole eye opener, and believe you me, a whole lot of pensies are they have what I call first class information from today's Zoom call. So we hope to see more of you by the time we start having more volumes of participants. So to see how best we can create, it's like a sensitization awareness for a whole lot of persons. Most people don't really know, don't appreciate the fact of wellness, overall wellness. And as we strive to do that, we know it's not an easy course, but we know that definitely at the end of the day, God will help us through. So for guys, you guys are on call today that have so many questions, Doctor is here, all right? Bombard him with questions. I've been expecting to see many questions. Bombard him with questions. So when people ask you out there, oh, what is this? What is that? So you should be able to ask them effectively. So we are waiting. I think there's some hands up already.
Yeah, we have
2 hands there.
Okay, first of all, wow, I have lots of hands up, but let's follow due protocol. Ladies first. So I have Michelle here. So I'm going to mute your mic for you. Michelle, your mic is open.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone on the chat. Good evening, Doctor. Thank you so much. This was indeed a value-packed presentation. I'm indeed so grateful. But my question in this, Doctor, you said something about it's better for us to take more of vegetable food. So my question will be, are we eliminating carbohydrate totally from our meal? I thought that it has to be balanced, but then again, what is balance? What is the percentage of carbohydrate to the percentage of vegetables and fruit that we should be taking?
Okay. Are we taking out the question? Now let me react to this immediately. Okay, can I react now?
Yes, please.
Yes, you just answer this one. Yeah, let's take them one by one. So,
Okay, that's fine. That's a very good question. And the question for me is like the simplest question. This is the way I'll answer it. When a child is born, the cells, are 100% intact. As you age and move forward, there's this concept when we're much younger, they say, give a child egg and all those things, That because at that age, they need nutritive substances. You don't give a child Gary at that age. They need nutritive things that will increase their protein composition, because at that point, a child is growing. So need protein more to grow. That's what that child needs. When that child has done up to 5 years plus, then you start giving the child an energy building food. Now that's where, carbohydrate comes in and all that fully. At the infant stage, they are more of milk, vitamins, minerals, proteins. At the other side now, the child now is getting bigger. Now I want to now give carbohydrate food, fat intake foods, so that the child can now build muscles and all that. Now, unfortunately, by the time we are in 2030, there are certain hormones in the body that will now start going off completely. One of the hormones that we're even studying currently is called the human growth hormone. That is the hormone that sets in aging. At age 30 especially, that hormone is almost completely absent. And you know that hormones are proteins. And at that point, one is now aging. You don't need more of carbohydrates anymore. You start going towards or start thinking towards fruits and vegetables. And then, of course, proteinous foods too, so that you build your immune resistance. So most of these things are not fixed. They are just age-related. But of course, it is head knowledge. No head knowledge will tell you that by the time one is growing older, let's say maybe one is in his or her late 40s. The reason why sometimes we talk about 40 is because by the time you're 40 years, you're already at the point of, in fact, you're in between the young and the old. So the other extreme is aging. There is this funny saying, they say a fool at 40 is a fool forever. I don't know why they say that. But in medical practice, age is very, very vital. Not just for, for fun, but what you eat. You don't expect me that by the age of 40, I should be taking so much of maybe minerals. Why? Because the rate of metabolism of whatever I eat is already on the slow side. It's already in the slow pace. As healthy, as strong as a young man that I am now, I'll need as much carbohydrate as possible. Why? Energy building. I need energy to walk, to carry things, to show that man nature and all that. But these things will start going down. The amount of carbohydrates, let me use a banana, for instance, I'm consuming at this age, and the amount I'll consume by the time I get to age 40, 50 can never be the same. At that age, I should be thinking of a particular type of food that is geared towards keeping myself at least relatively active, because they are fading off. Like I said, at that aging point, the amount of cells that are being produced are now lesser than the amount of cells that are dying. So everything I'll be doing towards that time will be geared towards whatever I'll eat to improve my cell, regeneration capacity. And that is why I give it up to our company, for showing us a stem cell. Like if you now look at the stem cell generally, why are they even recommended for elderly? Because at a point, you look at it, regenerative medicine, regenerative That means if we're talking about regenerative medicine, that means there's a degeneration somewhere. So there are what we call degenerative diseases. And those degenerative diseases come with what? Aging. So there's a need to regenerate. So what are we regenerating? What are the components? Basically plants. Now, let me say this. See someone, the fastest way you can sell your product, again, medical wise, is this. When you meet an elderly person who is in his or her late 50s, 60s up, if the person is well educated, ask the person the kind of diet he or she takes. You'll be shocked and to the kind of funny diet the person takes. The very educated ones. They don't eat eba like you're doing at your age. No. They eat everything in bits, in bits, in bits. So what we need to do, the more sensitization we need to do is to educate them that they need more of plant-based products at that level. And unfortunately, you cannot quantify how much of the plant that may, we can consume, because it's not our kind of life here. If we're in Japan, if we're in China, India, they eat, in fact, sometimes I say they eat grass. They eat more or less grass. Why are they eating grass? There is life in those things. But the good part of it is that we have those things extracted for us in our products. I don't know if I'm making sense to your question. So look at it from that perspective. From the perspective of what a child needs, there's a need for a child in terms of food. There's a need for someone between age 5, 10, and maybe 40. And there's a need for 40 years and above. So if you look at it from that side, you now know that EBA or carbohydrates, so to speak, cannot come at all the age range. I think that makes sense, if you agree with me. Thank you. Hello.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Michelle, hope that was the best answer for your question.
Yes, of course. Thank you so very much, Doctor.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Give it up for Dr. Haka Justice. So more questions before we wrap it up for the night. We're just focusing on health and wellness tonight. So more questions.
Any more question? I'm ready to answer any question.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. I think okay, 2 persons here. Okay. Ahmed is okay. Your mic is open. Hello, Mr. Ahmed. Go ahead, please. Your mic is open.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. We can hear you.
What of using APs to using AP for what's the implication? Is it good or bad?
Using earpiece.
Using earpiece to receive a call.
Receive call,
not directly earpiece on phone to receive call or to listen to music. Is it damaging the health?
Okay, let me answer that very quick.
Is it helpful or damaging the cell?
Let me answer that very quickly.
Hello.
And with you, I've heard your question. Let me answer it. Are you with me?
Yeah, he can hear.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, now let me give more insights again about radiation medicine. First of all, just imagine, sometimes some of these things you just think around it. Imagine if someone is in US and the person calls you, you're in Nigeria, and your phone rings. Imagine the capacity of the energy that would have happened in space. Part of what we are doing here is to oh, sorry for that interruption. Fortune, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, I was trying to give an analysis, and it's very, very important. You're holding your phone, your cell phone in your hands. Do you know that ideally, you're not supposed to answer your phone? Let me use my other for those. Oh, good. So sorry for that interruption. I'm having interruptions of call. Okay, now imagine answering your phone this way. Can we see me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You're not supposed to answer your call this way, sir, ma. Yes. You're supposed to answer your call like this, with a distance to your head, to your ear. That is the recommendation. That's the guideline. And like I said, of course, if you put it this way, you may not hear properly because there's a space between your ear and the phone. So the best bet is to use a hands-free like this. This is an AirPod. You can fix your AirPod in your ear and take your call, or use your, like you said, your earpiece and take your call. Now, where the earpiece becomes a problem is when you use it for a long time. Take, for instance, even they want to listen to music, minimum, there should be time bound for everything. And again, how loud is that music in your ear? Some people want to when they go and buy earpiece, they want to buy the one that has bars, so that you make the music loud, and then it will just be vibrating your ear like you're in a club, so to speak. Of course, there is a tolerable decibel. There's a tolerable decibel of sound that your eardrum can take. If it goes beyond 80, that's very high. So everything happens in moderation, but let me just give the guideline. If you're using your earpiece to answer a phone call, when you're done with the phone call, remove the earpiece. Probably hang it on your neck or drop it. It's not meant, it's earpiece for enhancement of call. You're done, remove it, because the ear is supposed to have free, air entry for cleaning and all that, natural processes. But if you keep it for too long, it will definitely, cause some obstruction or blockade, or even lead to particles not having access out, and may lead to even infection. I may have things like otitis. I don't want to call medical names here. Ear infections and all that. So common knowledge is, please don't answer your cell phone this way from today. Please, for all the men that are in this group, or even the women, please tell all the men, I will hardly will you see my phone in my pocket, front or back. No way. Hardly. So don't put your phones in your pocket. It reduces your strength, your muscle strength. I can do a demonstration. In fact, let me teach you. You can do it at home. Stretch your hands like this and resist someone putting the pressure on it. You can do it without your phone in your pocket. But no matter how strong you are, if your phone in your pocket is in your pocket, your hands will fall down, will pull down. That's one experimentation that shocked the world when I think what's his name that gave that explanation about what the radiation energy from your phone can do to your entire muscle structure. It kills your muscle cells. So it's very important that you put your phones in a way. So if you're using your earpiece, when you're done using it, as quickly as possible, remove the earpiece, keep it. When you get another call, use it, and that's it. All right. I hope this have probably answered your question. More questions, so that I'll be bringing more information out.
Wow, guys. Wow, that is so much value. In fact, I just had to take off my AirPods immediately.
Don't put it permanent for a long time. It's when when call comes, you use it, and then all that. Like this, like my own now is on the table. I kept it on the table because I'm not using it. So when I get a call, I quietly, there's some of them have fingerprint. I may cut your call. So what I know, I pick it from, there's a way I pick it and I just fix it in my ear quietly, pick my call, I drop it after the call. That's just it. So sometimes some people put it for more the whole day. No, it's not healthy for your ear, because your ear needs air to go in, and those air helps to wash and cleanse the ear in natural way. So when you keep blocking your ear every now and then, on the long run, you may have a lot of challenge with your ear. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We have I think it's gonna be the last question. Team Health for Wealth. Health for Wealth. Wow. Okay, mic is open.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, I have a disturbing question. I have a prospect that used our 2-Cell Plus. He's an ulcer patient, and he was stooling up to 5 days, and I had to ask him to stop it. It was not good for him. What did you think was his reaction?
Yes, that's hypersensitivity. That's fine. Now, but something again is this. There's what we call ruling out. We should be very careful with the way people also react and tell you, oh, because I started this, I started having this. For me, my recommendation is this. What drug is the person on? In as much as I know, we don't have any drug interaction with our product. That's one. Secondly, I'll tell the patient to stop for a while and watch, not just to stop completely. Sometimes the way the body, there's what we call idiosyncrasy. The way my body reacts to a drug and the way your own body will react to a drug may differ 100%. I may have hypersensitivity to a particular drug now, initial reaction, but not deleterious. Those initial reactions may even be healing process. But what I do is that if you think it's really devastating, it's really disturbing, I could stop for a while and say, okay, let me leave you for 2-3 days, and I'll recommence it again after. If it continues, then I can now say, okay, fine, truly, this is based on this. Let me give an example. A patient came to my hospital, and then I don't know if I've given this example before, but let me just share it for the sake of those that probably are new here on the call tonight. I gave an anti-retroviral drug. That's drug we use for HIV patients. So the man took the drugs, and he's to see me back in 2 weeks, but he called me that he doesn't want to take the drugs again about 5 days after. I said, what's the problem? The man said that he's always having catastrophic dreams. That in fact, he doesn't, in fact, he will roll from one bed to another because of it's becoming it's so much of a problem to him and all that. As at the time, I didn't know that one of the drug components, had that side effect. as what is already recommended in the literature. So I was a bit curious. I was like, what's going on? So I now later found out that, a particular drug side effect is catastrophic dreams. You don't be seeing all manner of, in fact, to look as though you're no longer in earth, you'll be seeing weird, abnormal things. So what I did was, when I saw that literature, and I said, okay, fine, let me test this drug. I know that some people will say, which kind of doctor be this one? Yes, most times I take my patient drug to know what they're feeling. That's the best way we practice this thing. So I took just one pill of that retroviral drug. My friends, I couldn't sleep. In fact, dreams, it will be as if it's this 3D kind of movement, 3D movie or something that they will put something in your eyes and you'll be playing, people will be shouting and all that. The world was turning upside down. So the next day I called him and I said, you should please come. That I understood his feeling. So he came, good a thing, the solution was simply canceling. That he will see that stuff for about 10 days or 1 week, after which the body will normalize and then he will just continue and will no longer see that. And good a thing, that was just the magic. And the man came back and told me that, okay, fine, he will continue. And after a while, the whole catastrophic dream stopped. So most times the body can initiate a healing process abnormally, and then you start having some hypersensitivity to it. That doesn't make it a bad thing. So what I would suggest is, if you have told him or her to stop, fine. If it has taken up to 3 or 4 days, tell her or him to continue again. And then let's watch again and see. If the person still continues stooling, then we can now, shift to other recommendations. Just chat me up, and then let's deal with the person together. That's what I would say for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate. I'll do that.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think that will be the last question. Any more questions, please drop it on the group chat. Wow, guys. Wow, it's been value-packed so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Justice. Thank you for the value. We're so excited with this information. And of course, it's going to make a change in our life. Thank you so much. So before we wrap it up for the night, I just think we're going to hear from the managing director before we wrap it up and call it a night. Okay, all right. So information I want to share is tomorrow there will be a seminar in the Lagos office. Okay, if you're not familiar with the Lagos office, the flyer for the seminar will be posted on the group, and of course the address of the office is there on the flyer. So if you're anywhere around Lagos, try to be in the seminar because it's also going to be value pack. One of our great leaders is going to be the host, and it's going to be awesome. Still, there are many offline activities that's going to come in the week, and we're going to announce it on the group. So if you're not yet on the WhatsApp group, try to get on the WhatsApp group so you don't miss out on exciting information. So guys, thank you so much. Like Dr. Justice said, this is going to be a series, Health and Wellness with Dr. Justice Ohaka. It's going to be a series where lots of information from deep research are going to be unleashed. So you make yourself available when it's time for the next series. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once more, give it up for Dr. Justice Ohaka. Give it up, just show appreciation. If you really got value, type value, show appreciation on the chat. Go on the chat. Okay, value packed indeed from Michelle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just show appreciation. Go on the chat and show appreciation. Thank you, sir, from Team World. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So Wednesday is another day. Wednesday is going to be wealth focus. We're going to focus on wealth on Wednesday. So make sure you don't miss out. Don't just come on Zoom alone. Make sure you invite someone to Zoom so they don't miss out on good information like this. Information is what brings transformation. If you want to see lots of life transform, invite them to Zoom. Thank you so much, Dr. Ohaka Justice, for this great information. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate. And of course, it's a wrap for the night. Thank you so much. Good night and see you all on Wednesday.
Good night.